What is up everybody and welcome back to another Among Us video, and in this video I'm gonna be telling you why you should never leave the airship map. So in Among Us there's actually a way that you can leave the airship map. You can leave as a ghost, but you can also leave as a crewmate. One of my subscribers told me about this method, so I decided to put it to the test, and what ended up happening will shock all of you, so you won't want to miss this. And before we get any further into this video, I do want to mention that 70% of you have not hit that subscribe button, which means that you're missing out on Among Us Darkest Secrets. So why not solve that issue by hitting that subscribe button with the bell icon turned on, and dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy. But now, let's begin with today's story video. So while I was playing Among Us, I got to experience one of the strangest games of Among Us that I've ever played. It was currently 3 in the morning, and I couldn't sleep, so I got on Among Us to play a few matches, which is usually what I do. Me and the rest of the crewmates were waiting for more players to join, and luckily that didn't take very long, and we got to start our game. I was a crewmate and I spawned inside of the main hall, and I saw that I had a task in electrical, so I went downstairs to do my task. Once I got done doing it, Black walked inside and took me out. So now I was just a ghost, and I was just floating around watching the crewmates do their task. I caught Cyan venting, which really confused me because there was 2 imposters in the game, and I usually only play with 1. While I was floating around, I accidentally went outside of the airship map, which I didn't think was possible. The top of the airship map was just flat, and it had a corner. But isn't the airship supposed to be an airship, and not just one big block? So I went towards the bottom portion of the map, and it was the same thing as the top. It was just flat and it had a corner, and I could also see the clouds. A sabotage was then called, but since I was a ghost I didn't have to worry about it. I eventually made it to the other side of the airship map, and this time it looked more rounded. It was still flat at the bottom, but as I slowly moved up, it became even more round. But I was still confused on why the back was so flat and the front wasn't. I even made it to the top of the cockpit, which was probably my favorite location since I got to see the inside, and it was just one large window. I then decided to go back to the top, and I wanted to look for clouds. Since I saw them at the bottom, maybe they're at the top. But as I was looking around, I saw nothing, and my game crashed. I guess Among Us doesn't want us to go outside of the map, but why? I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. So I was now back on the home screen. Among Us kicked me out of the game, and I was unable to join public lobbies. So I got into a match of free play inside of the airship map, and I really wanted to see what would happen since I was out of the map the last game. So I checked the corners where I was able to leave the ship, and I was stuck inside. So I tried looking out of the balcony inside of the security room, and I couldn't leave the airship map. Maybe I need to check the viewing deck. So I made my way through the kitchen and inside of the viewing deck, and I still couldn't go outside. What if I turned myself into a ghost and see if I could leave the airship map once again? I need to test that out. So I made my way over to the meeting room to press the button. I called the first meeting, and I was hoping that the dummies would eject me, but they ejected Brown. Let me try this again. I called another meeting and the votes were tied, and still no dummy was voting for me. Come on, 3rd time's a charm. I now called the 3rd meeting, and this time Pink and Black voted for me. I also voted for myself, so now I was a ghost. And I know I was playing a match full of dummies, but I really want to know why I was kicked out of the game in the last round. So I made my way over to the top of the map, and there was some invisible barrier, and I couldn't go through. This barrier eventually took me to the right side of the map, and I was able to go outside, but just a little bit. Among Us is definitely hiding something. Since the top and bottom were not working, I'm gonna try to leave through the bottom. But I was facing the same situation as the top. It was a curved invisible barrier that didn't let me go any further. But why is it that I was able to leave the ship when they took me out? Luckily, as I made my way further down the map, I was able to see the clouds and also the balcony that was connected to security. But I wasn't able to go any further. It also let me see the viewing deck, which was quite interesting. Now I should probably make my way over to the cockpit. I was facing the same problem that I faced before. I had to deal with this invisible barrier, but the moment that I got near the cockpit, I was able to go outside. It was more than the right side of the map, but it was still a lot less than before. I had to deal with the barrier, which I don't know why Among Us has it to begin with. It's almost as if there's something hiding out there, but what is it? I'm gonna return back to the engine room and go from a ghost back to a crewmate, and I'm gonna try to eject myself again. So I clicked on the file inside of the computer, and I became the imposter. So now I was able to move as a crewmate. I tried to walk out of the engine room, but it wasn't letting me. I was just stuck there. So I made my way above the engine room, and I was able to walk through walls. What is happening? As I was walking around, I realized that I was able to walk through walls, which I have never been able to do. I didn't even know this was possible in the airship map. I have seen it before in the other maps, especially scaled, but I haven't been able to do it personally. This was by far one of the strangest things that have ever happened to me. I was even able to stand on top of Task, as you can see in the shower room. I could even go inside of the shelves inside of records. This was so strange. But there was one thing that I noticed. I was only able to be around the main hall. I couldn't go anywhere else in the ship. That is until I entered the gap room. And I could see the moving engines. And I was literally walking on top of them. I was even able to walk on top of the windows, which is something that I didn't think I would ever do, especially on the airship map. When I returned back to records, I could hide behind the shelf, and my entire player would be gone, including my username. I was honestly having a lot of fun, walking on top of the walls. When I went over to the lounge, I was able to walk on top of the toilets, which I found really cool. And I could even open the doors, so I still had access to some of the things inside of the map. But now that I was able to move, I need to investigate what was going on outside. I wasn't sure if it was gonna let me, since I wasn't a ghost. But when I made my way over to the right side of the map and tried to go through the wall, it actually let me and I was able to go outside. I was literally floating in midair, and I was a crewmate and not a ghost. There was still this barrier for some reason, so I made my way over to the bottom portion of the map. But as I was on my way there, I noticed that I can get on top of the chairs, the vitals, and even the medical beds. Everything that was happening was just so strange to me. There had to be a reason why this was happening, and why this is even in the game. When I finally made it to the balcony and security, I couldn't get on top of the balcony. I could only go around it. That is so strange. I could even walk on top of the clouds. So I made my way to the other side of the ship, and I checked the viewing deck, and I was facing the same situation as the balcony. None of this makes sense. I was able to do it as a ghost, but not as a crewmate. Maybe I need to go to the top portion of the map, but as I was slowly making my way over there, my game began to glitch. I think I'm getting closer to my answer. Among Us clearly doesn't want me over here, but I'm gonna force my way through. I was now in front of the ship, and I was literally floating in midair with the moving clouds behind me, and I was able to move. But once again, I had to deal with the barrier, and my game was also very glitchy. I began to look around everywhere. What is causing my game to glitch? And why in this area? So I went back inside of the airship map and I looked around, and my screen was no longer glitching. It is only happening when I'm outside, which is the front of the airship map. So I went back outside, and my screen began to glitch, even more than before. And No Visor appeared on my screen and crashed my game. No Visor is back, and he has taken over the airship map. If you would like to know what happened next, let's see if we can get this video to 30,000 likes. I do also want to give a massive shout out to Lazy Doggo for helping me produce this video. If you would like to help out a smaller creator, make sure to go check out his channel and subscribe to him. And if you're new to the channel and want to see more Among Us story videos, make sure that you hit that subscribe button with the bell icon turned on. And check out these other Among Us story videos that I found on my channel.